What's up, guys? This is Mike, one of your race directors for the Hot 100 this coming Saturday. Registration has now closed. We will have race day registrations for the first 20 people for the 10K. So if you know anybody who's still planning on coming with you who might want to run the 10K, let them know they need to show up early on Saturday to sign up. Now, I want to give you a preview of how the weekend's going to go, some things to look forward to, especially for you relay and 100K runners. 10K runners, the thing is pretty straightforward. So the first couple things I'm going to go through apply to everybody, and then we're going to talk specifically about the relay and the 100K, what to bring with you, what to expect, and a couple items that are just suggestions from Brandy and me. So what you're going to want to do is watch this entire video, and that way we can speed up the pre-race morning announcements of me standing at the start line and you guys just sort of jumping around while I'm going over all these announcements. So watch this whole video, get all the information, because I'm going to speed through it on Saturday morning at the start line. So here we go. Let's start with trail markings. The course is going to be marked in several different ways. Primarily, it's going to be marked with pink and white striped ribbons. Those of you who have done the Hot 100 in the past, we are no longer using the checkered ribbons that we have used in previous years. This year we are only using the pink and white striped ribbons. Some of those ribbons will have reflective tape on them for you runners that will be running your laps during the dark. So we'll be using the ribbons. We will also have some signs. Some will have jokes on them, some will have arrows pointing you in the right way. So keep an eye out for the ribbons, the signs. We will also have pennant flagging and other things roped across the trail. One thing you want to keep in mind for the duration of the race, whether you're doing the 10K, the 100K, the relay, it doesn't matter. If you see something drawn across the trail, do not hop over it, do not go under it. And what I mean by something, like a rope, or ribbons or pennant flagging. Most of it will be the multicolored pennant flagging. So if that is drawn across the trail, there's probably a nearby sign, or at least look up and start trying to find a nearby ribbon, because that does not mean that you hop over whatever is across the trail. That means that there's a turn. So that's how the trail is going to be marked. There will also be flags in the ground, those little wire surveyor's flags. They're going to be solid pink, and some of those will also have reflective tape on the ground. If you've done any of our races in the last 9 months, we started using the reflective tape on the ribbons and flags, so you know what that's all about. And we use this same course marking configuration with the flags and the pink and white striped ribbons at the Warhammer 100. So you guys who attempted or finished the Warhammer 100 know what that's all about. So that's everything about trail marking. Let's talk about the weather. Let's just say it's going to be wet. We don't quite know, and we never will know until we get there, what the actual weather is going to be like on race day in terms of rain. Right now it's looking like it is going to rain on Saturday. It is definitely going to be wet because it's raining at the farm right now. It was raining at the farm yesterday. It might rain tomorrow and Friday, who knows. But the ground is certainly going to be wet, so keep that in mind, you campers. And the hills are certainly going to be muddy. So just be prepared for that. You're going to be running in wet shoes and wet socks. So those of you who are running the relay, you're going to have to either put on wet shoes and socks for your second or third or fourth lap, or bring some extra socks and shoes for yourselves. You 100K runners, you know what this is all about. You signed up for a 100K solo run, so yeah, you're going to be running in wet shoes, muddy shoes for quite a while, but you can obviously change them back because you're going to be back at the start-finish line every 6 miles to see us. So keep that in mind. Again, the race goes on, rain or shine. If there's severe thunder lightning, we will postpone the race, or sometimes in extreme circumstances, we might have to stop it and pause the race mid-race if the lightning just gets too dangerous. It doesn't look like it's going to be like that, but we won't know. So that's weather. Let's talk about parking, and specifically about campers and RVs. If you're coming on Friday night and you're bringing a camper or an RV, you must park in the parking field. There's no parking lot at the farm. Everybody parks in a field. However, if you're bringing a camper, RV, mobile home, anything of that nature, you cannot drive it into the camping area. The camping area is for tent sites only, unless you have received approval from me or Brandy ahead of time. We have already approved some folks that are bringing small towable camper type things that are, 10, 15 feet, maybe as big big as 20 feet, but that's getting a little bit too big. So we're gonna try and keep it small. We don't want people driving around the camping area. It's gonna be roped off, so you cannot drive in there except for one little spot where a vehicle can get through. So if you're gonna be doing that, if you've already contacted me and we've exchanged emails and I've given you the thumbs up to bring your small camper into the camping area, try to get there early if you can, so that you can get your things set up, and then we can close the camping area off to all other vehicular traffic until later in the day, or actually on Sunday. If you're bringing if you are going to do that and put a camper type thing in the tent camping area, we are going to ask that you stay till Sunday, because we cannot have people driving around in the camping area while all the tents are set up while the race is going on. So you're either going to have to stay till Sunday or wait till after midnight to get your camper out of there. And everybody else, please park in the parking field. Pay attention to the little white signs when you enter the tree farm, and park. The field will be on your left as you approach the big barn. So please pull into the field. Don't just pull off the road. Remember, there are over 170 people coming to the race on Saturday, and everybody's got to park. So please, if you get there early, make sure the people who come in after you can get into the field. And now about aid stations on the course. There are 2 water stops. We don't really have any aid stations on the course because you relay runners and you 100K runners, you'll be back at the start-finish line every 6 miles. However, at the 2-mile mark and the 4-mile mark, and again, that's all ish, but we will have water stops. So there will be a cooler of water and a cooler of Sword hydration drink at basically every 2 miles around the loop. There will not be volunteers there. There will be cups and a trash can. So if you need to stop there and you're not carrying a bottle or anything with you, please get a cup, get your drink, and throw it in the trash before you take off onto the trail. We don't want a bunch of trash up on the trail. But keep in mind, there won't be any volunteers at the water stops on the course, and there will be no food on the course either, except what you carry with you. All the food will be back at base camp at the start and finish line. That's pretty much it that applies to the 10K runners. I'm going to talk specifically about the relay right now. Please, relay runners, review the rules of the race. In the email that we sent out earlier this week, we hit on a couple of those. No doubling up, and what that means is, hey, can I run with my buddy here and that count as our 6th and 7th lap? No, we've allowed that in the past, but we're never doing that again. That's just not fair to people who do it right. The way a relay works is one runner runs the leg, the next runner runs a leg, and so on and so on and so on. There has to be a handoff. You can have somebody run with you during your lap, but that cannot count for their lap. So if you want some company, by all means bring some company, but that's only going to count for your lap. No doubling up. It will not count. You have to run 10 consecutive laps for your team to be a finisher. Second, finisher awards will be awarded to every member of every team that finishes the race by doing 10 consecutive laps in under the time limit. That means before midnight. So if your team runs 8 laps and then quits, I don't care if you ran 1 lap or 5 laps, you will not get a finisher award. I know that sounds harsh, but this is a team activity. This is a team race. This is not about individual achievement. So no matter how many laps you individually run, your team will only be rewarded a finisher's time and a finisher award if you do all 10 laps in under the time limit. If you come in at 12:01 a.m., I'm sorry to say that is a DNF and no finisher award for you. Also, please remember that relay runners, you cannot start a leg until the previous leg has finished. So we've had that happen in the past where, let's say your team is getting close to the cutoff time and you still have several laps to go. You're not sure if you're going to get it, and you want to come to Brandy or myself and say, hey, can I go ahead and start my lap even though the previous runner has not returned yet? No, we cannot do that either, because again, by nature of the relay, every team has to run 10 consecutive laps. And also, your timing chip is your baton for the day. So every relay team has one timing chip, and that is something that every runner has to carry with them. And so the person who's running leg 1 will take the timing chip with them. They'll do their lap. They'll hand that timing chip to the next person, and they will do their lap. That's how you're being timed, and that is how your laps will be tracked. Okay, 100K solo runners. There are several of you taking on this challenge. It is going to be tough. So one thing I want to remind you all of, that we are we're offering a specific space set aside for you inside the barn should you choose to have your own little rest area so you don't have to go back to your tent. That can either be up under the porch area, and you'll see all this when you show up, or inside the barn. So that's all very close to the start finish line, because you are going to be very pressed for time in between laps. You must average 90 minutes per 10K to finish this thing before midnight. So you're not going to have a ton of time to hang around in between laps. So we want to try and help you out with that by minimizing the time that you have to waste by, let's say, walking over to your car or walking over to your tent. So you can have a little aid station of your own by the finish line, start finish line, and set that up for yourself so you don't have to go very far in between laps. Also, for you 100K runners, if you can think ahead, one suggestion I have for you is think ahead while you're running, while you're out on your first lap or second lap or sixth lap. Hey, what might I want after my next lap? So if you think, hey, I might want a PB&J after my next lap, let a volunteer know, or let me or Brandy or one of the other race staff members know that, hey, after my next lap, I'm going to want XYZ. We'll try to have it ready for you so that you can minimize that time between laps. One suggestion from me, having done this route many, many times, is, like I just said, minimize your time at the start and finish line. You're not going to be able to sit there for very long and rest. I would encourage all of you to rest while you're moving. There's about a quarter to a half mile of gravel road down at the bottom of the valley where you'll start the race, and several other flat stretches at the bottom of the valley. If you have to walk those in order to get some rest time, do that instead of resting while you're not moving. Try to get all of your rest while you're actually moving, and then if you have to sit down on the trail, go ahead and do that, but be very cautious about spending 10, 15, 20 minutes at the start finish line, because I think you'll find that it'll be late in the day and you won't be very far into the race. So be very careful about that, you 100K runners. Okay, that's it. That's all I have for today. Any other questions, please try to email us and we will do our best to get back to you. It's info@nextopportunityevents.com. We cannot guarantee that we will get back to you, because as you're watching this video, I will be out marking the course, and then tomorrow, Friday, I'll be on site setting up all day. So we'll do our best to get back to everybody, but try to email us. Social media is probably not going to be a very good way to get in touch with us. Email is your best bet. info@nextopportunityevents.com if you have any questions that we have not answered here. Okay, that's it. See you all on Saturday. Bye.